Good morning, everyone. What an immense honor it is to mark Memorial Day alongside each of you today. I want to begin by recognizing the many active duty service members here with us. Thank you for the daily sacrifices you make, the time you spend away from family, the hardships you endure to keep us safe. I look out and I see the faces of countless veterans and military families, some of whose service only just ended and some of whom even served on the Intrepid years ago. We are so grateful for all that you have done for our nation. Thank you to the Intrepid Museum for hosting the ceremony today, and for the Intrepid's leadership for allowing us to take a moment to remember those that have made the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you to Susan Maranoff-Sausner, Ken Fisher, and it's also a privilege to be joined by Admiral Carl Thomas, Commander of U.S. Fleet Forces Command for the U.S. Navy. I also want to acknowledge Captain Jonathan Andrzejczyk of the U.S. Coast Guard Port of New York and New Jersey, our City Council Speaker, as well as Larry Arnold, the President of Intrepid, former Crew Member Association, Bill Peters, former crew member and Growler. I want to acknowledge our Congressman, our Commissioner, our Deputy Mayor for Health and Human Services, as well as the New York State Department of Veterans Services. Most of all, I want to take a moment to thank the Gold Star families and all those here today to remember and honor someone who has given their life in service. Let us vow to stand alongside you, our Gold Star families, not just today on Memorial Day, but frankly every day. As we heard from the Admiral and others, on July 4th, we will mark 250 years as a nation. 250 years since we came together as Americans to declare our freedom from tyranny and oppression. 250 years where we have lived in this country side by side, working every day to become just a little bit more free, to fulfill the promise upon which we were founded, that all men are created equal. As each of us enjoy the fruits of lives of peace and freedom, homes where we are safe at night, children who learn and grow in school, let us always remember that none of this was promised. It was won by sacrifice, and it must be cherished. Here at the Intrepid, I can't help but think about all those who stood on this ship before, and what they saw as they steamed for faraway waters. I think of the sailors and the Marines on the Intrepid's maiden voyage, standing on deck late at night in January of 1944, heading towards the Marshall Islands. The lights would have been off to make her a harder target for Japanese submarines. The Fighting One would have likely been zigzagging for the same reason. We often forget how young those from whom we ask the most typically are. Thousands of officers and enlisted men would have been on board. Many were still teenagers. This was the furthest many had ever been from home. They hailed from every part of our country, from Alabama and Alaska, from Brooklyn and the Bronx. With the lights off, they sailed towards a horizon they could not see, to take on the threat of fascism that endangered so many. Some of those sailors never came home. As we've heard, the Intrepid absorbed torpedo impacts and kamikaze attacks, endured flooding and fires. They took a human toll. Men like Donald Dominic DiMarzo, the Intrepid's fire marshal, Alfonso Chavarrias, a gunner killed by a plane that hurled into the ship, who never got to grow into old age. Back home, after each attack, cars pulled up in driveways. A solemn knock was heard at the door. A telegram was pressed into a loved one's hand. The toll of freedom has been felt by generation after generation, by loss after loss. And still, this ship floats. And still, our nation is free. And today we remember those who made it so, those to whom we hold an obligation that can never be entirely fulfilled, to build a city and a nation worthy of their service and worthy of their sacrifice. I stand before you immensely humbled to serve as the mayor of New York City, to lead a city from which so many of our people have answered the call to serve. And I feel a deep responsibility to the more than 135,000 veterans here in New York City, their families, and our Gold Star families. It is a privilege to serve those who have served. And I want to use the trust and power placed in me by the people of New York City to ensure that our veterans and military families receive the services and the support they deserve. In the wealthiest city, in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, we cannot simply accept that so many veterans must live with food insecurity, homelessness, and social isolation. As we mark the solemnity of this day together and remember all those we lost, let us also rededicate ourselves to practicing the values for which they laid down their lives. Let us each do our parts to ensure that our city remains a beacon of liberty for all, where every person here can live that life of freedom, from cruelty, from oppression, and from want. Thank you very much.
Mayor, this way here.
According to the Department of Veterans Affairs, in the 12-major conflict from which the U.S. has fought, more than 1 million of its service members will be killed in battle. The second wreath honors these United States military personnel, and to lay this wreath will be Speaker Menon and Admiral Thomas. Throughout its history, the United States has not been alone in defending and fighting for freedom around the globe, aided by brave men and women from other nations who have fought alongside our forces. To lay this wreath are Dr. Ardiaga and Commissioner Mata.
Post! Detail, present! Colors!
I now invite veterans and active duty military personnel, please join us around the flag.
You'll take one of my sons, then yes. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Am I in your way?
All right, Teddy, you're next. Go ahead. You got
I'm just
two
gonna take
boys-
it with them, then I got you.
Two boys from Queens
Absolutely.
really
Come on,
want to
two
get a
boys.
picture with you. That's okay.
I am so sorry, everyone. This is the last one. We have to go.
Hold on, the mom has to get it. Okay,
Thank
there
you
we go.
so
Right here.
much.
Teddy, smile. Thank you.
guys. I just promised him one last one.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for everything. All right. You okay?
Home in. Home man actually made this. Home very endangered.